Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Today we kick off the ALCS with games 1 and 2 at home against the Houston Astros. We wrapped up the ALDS in the last episode in an unbelievable 14-inning thriller. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a card at the top right of your screen because it was an unbelievably fun game. Probably the craziest of this entire series. And our bullpen is who won this game for us. We had 9 shutout innings from the pen, including multiple from Julian Starnes. Will Brooks pitched the final 3 innings of the game. He got the win, and in my opinion, should have won Player of the Game. The starting rotation has been a little bit inconsistent through the Angels series, and the offense as well. Started off slow, but I will say we are hitting the ball a lot better. We out-hit the Angels 19-8. In that Game 5 victory, even though it took us 14 innings to win the game, the offense is starting to come along after really struggling those first 2 playoff games. So with 3 straight wins, I think we are in a good spot entering the ALCS here against the Houston Astros, who swept the Detroit Tigers in the first round of the playoffs. They finished with 103 wins, tied for the best record in baseball, and of course they finished tied with us. We also won 103 games. It's a very talented lineup with a lot of good players in there. Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, and of course Yordan Alvarez, who finished 3rd in the MVP vote, only behind our very own Luis St. John and our very own Lenny Ling. This Astros team is well rested. They haven't played in almost a week, so maybe they'll be a little bit rusty, but they're also going to feel juiced and energized entering this series. Before we get to Game 1, we do have the opportunity to make some changes to our playoff roster now that we've entered a new series, and I do plan on doing so. Amir Garrett had a bad season in the majors, but I am going to call him up. I think there's a high ceiling with Amir Garrett, even if he had a down year, and Felix Rosa really didn't play all that well when his name was called upon, so we're going to send him down. Christian Robinson will also get a chance to get some playing time, and we're going to send down Heston Kjerstad, who went 0 for 7 in that ALDS series, and I just don't see a reason to keep Kjerstad on the playoff roster because I think we have 4 or 5 outfielders, including Christian Robinson, who are all better and more deserving. So now let's get this game underway. Welcome to Camden Yards for Game 1 of the ALCS here as the Baltimore Orioles try to get back to the World Series, and the only team standing in their way is the Houston Astros. As I said earlier today, we will be doing Games 1 and 2, so this will not be the only game that we cover today. These 2 teams finished with 103 wins each, tying the best record in baseball. So technically, these were the 2 best teams in the regular season, clashing to see who will represent the American League in the World Series. The Astros have a ton of talent. They have been there, done that. The Orioles, meanwhile, have been very close to making the World Series the past couple of years, and maybe this is the year they can get over the hump. In the National League, the Braves and Diamondbacks are tied at 1, so that appears to be a pretty exciting series as well. Regular starters for the most part as we take a look at the lineups. For the starting pitcher, I haven't really talked about who Baltimore is going to have on the rotation today, but it will be Kris Bubic for Game 1. Bubic pitched in Game 2 against the Angels, kind of struggled. I'm curious to see how Baltimore manages for rotation because their ace Shane Bieber did pitch in Game 5, so he's probably not going to start until later in the series. So for now, it will be Bubic as he faces off against Brandon Nimmo with 1 away here in the top of the first inning. He singles it nicely into left field, fielded cleanly by Luis St. John. St. John had some defensive woes in the Game 5 win, to put it nicely, as Yordan Alvarez grounds it past Jalen Miller. A quick start for the Houston offense as they get 2 aboard early. And with 2 away, that'd bring up the lefty Kyle Tucker, who strikes out on the inside fastball. Good job there by Bubic to get out of the jam. Not a great first inning, but nobody scores, so you can't really complain. As we go to the bottom of the first inning, with Houston being well rested, they get to send out their ace, Jose Urquidy, who was not good in the team's first postseason game against the Tigers. The bullpen did help them win that game, but he did struggle as Christian Robinson, hitting leadoff today, will get an infield single as that deflects off the glove of the first baseman. Robinson was not on the postseason roster through the ALDS, so it's interesting to see him not only starting today, but at the top of the order. Shed Lawn is now up. He draws a walk. Lawn was fantastic in the ALDS against the Angels, although he did slow down a little bit down the stretch. One away now for Louis St. John. He takes a big swing and a miss on the slider. So just like Houston, Baltimore starts the inning with a couple early base runners, but they're struggling to drive them in. Castellanos 2-1 pitch, chops it over to second, fielded cleanly by Jose Altuve, the veteran, as he slides it over to second for the final out of the inning. So both teams get multiple runners aboard, but nobody scores. A pretty interesting start as we enter the second. 2 away here for Raimel Tapia. Lines it nicely into right field. It looks like that one is going to drop. Another base hit for Houston. Raimel Tapia does have 73 speed. He is pretty fast, but there are 2 away here. That'll bring up the shortstop, Freudis Nova. 3-1. Inside fastball for ball 4. Nova also did not get an at-bat in the ALDS, so this is his first postseason at-bat of the season, and it's a pretty good one. So now that'll bring up Jose Altuve with 2 away. Grounds it to Bubic, who tags him successfully. So in each of the first 2 innings, Kris Bubic allows multiple base runners, but nobody has scored yet for the Astros as we go to the bottom of the second. Adley Rutschman leads things off, lines it into left. That'll drop for a hit. Both teams are having no trouble whatsoever getting runners aboard. It's just a matter of capitalizing with runners on. That'll bring up Jalen Miller, one of the unsung heroes of that opening playoff series. He lines it down the left field line and fair for extra bases as Rutschman is safe at third, Miller is safe at second. It's a double with no away for Jalen Miller. Now that the Orioles have multiple runners in scoring position, they should be able to drive them in pretty easily. That'll bring up Carmen Sixto now, the 3-2. It's an outside pitch for ball 4. So Sixto is aboard, and now the bases are loaded, still with nobody out. That'll bring up Elliot Ramos, who drove in the game-winning run in the 14th inning of the previous game. He singles into the right. Rutschman scores. Miller headed home. He's safe. A 2-run single for Elliot Ramos. He continues to step up in big-time situations, and the Orioles on top of this game 2-0. Clutch hitting there for Ramos, and Baltimore starts the damage. 1 away now for Shed Long. 1-2. Big swing and miss on the high fastball. So even though the Orioles did drive in a couple, they are struggling to drive these runners in, as that'll bring up Lenny Ling, who struggled in that opening playoff series. He lines this one high and pretty deep into right center. Go, ball, go. It is gone. A 3-run shot for Lenny Ling, his second home run of the playoffs. And the Orioles have broken the doorstep on this game early as they lead it 5-0. Jose Urquidy is getting rocked so far by this lineup as we go to the 4th. Game remains 5-0. Kyle Tucker draws a walk on the inside changeup. There goes Tucker on his horse for second. Late jump from Rutschman, and it's a stolen base for the Astros. There's nobody out, keep in mind. So this is a really good opportunity for Houston to do some damage as Austin Wells, the catcher, goes down looking on the high fastball. And long story short, Houston would be unable to drive in Tucker. As we go to the 5th inning, still a 5-0 ball game. Jose Altuve draws a walk on the high fastball. Bubic is still allowing quite a few base runners, but obviously it has not led to runs on the scoreboard. Brandon Nimmo goes down looking on the high fastball. Clearly this umpire has a thing for those high fastballs because that did not look like it was in the zone. 2 away for Yordan Alvarez. Weekly grounds it over to first base. Play is made by Carmen Sixto. That's 5 scoreless for Kris Bubic. His pitch count is starting to get a little bit higher. We'll see how much longer the Orioles keep him in the ballgame as we go to the bottom half of the inning. The Astros make a pitching change. It's Scott Alexander who checks in. Jose Urquidy did pitch a pretty good 3rd and 4th inning. That's why we didn't show any plays because, well, there wasn't really a whole lot notable to talk about. So here is Louis St. John up to bat. Full count, 1 away. We know St. John rakes against lefties. And that proves to be the case here as it bounces into right for an extra base hit. St. John moving quick, rounding second, headed to third. It's going to be a close play. The throw from Altuve is in time. They got him. Louis St. John trying to be aggressive, going for third, but it's not going to happen. Great defense by Houston as we go to the 6th. Kris Bubic remains in the game. His pitch count at 91 as Bregman grounds it to Castellanos. The play is bobbled at first by Carmen Sixto, and Bregman reaches safely. A good start to the inning there for Houston. They call it an error on Castellanos. A couple batters later, Austin Wells singles into center. Kris Bubic is now at 100 pitches. I'm not sure if he's going to make it out of this inning because you think at some point the Astros have to strike with these runners on base. Raimel Tapia is up. 3-1 pitch, draws a walk, and the bases are now loaded. Houston continues to get base runners like it's nothing. And again, you have to think at some point they're going to drive one in. It's a fly ball from Nova to away into right, caught by Ramos. So the Astros leave the bases loaded. I'm not sure how many runners Kris Bubic left on, but it has to have been in the double digits because it was a lot. 6 scoreless from Kris Bubic. His day is done. A marvelous postseason start for the lefty. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Adley Rutschman opens things up. He singles into center field. Rutschman is 2 for 3 so far today, and he was very consistent in the first round against the Angels. He's just been very steady in this lineup, which is really all you ask for from him. Carmen Sixto with one away grounds it to third. This looks like a chance to turn 2, which they do. 5-4-3, double play, and that will conclude inning number 6. Still a 5-0 game. No runs have been scored by Baltimore since the second inning, but obviously it has not mattered with how well Kris Bubic has pitched. So here is Amir Garrett, his first postseason appearance of the year. He was bad in the regular season, but maybe he can turn it around here as he strikes out Jose Altuve on the fastball, pun intended. 2 gone now for Yordan Alvarez. Lefty on lefty crime. He goes down on the slider. There aren't many relievers who do a better job of striking out batters than Amir Garrett, and although he allowed a ton of walks and a ton of hits this year, that was a nice little 1-2-3 inning. Into the bottom of the 7th, another good inning from Alexander as he gets the Orioles to retire the side, finished off by a shed lawn ground out. Still 5-0, not a ton of action since that second inning. This has, for the most part, definitely been a pitcher's duel. Another strikeout for Amir Garrett. This time he gets Kyle Tucker to go down looking, and then the following batter, Austin Wells, grounds it to third. Nice play by Castellanos, who does field it cleanly and makes a nice throw. That's 2 1-2-3 innings from Amir Garrett. I told you guys, there's something in him. Even if he struggled this year, I think he is trustworthy down the stretch of this season. Josh James is in for Houston as he faces off against Lenny Lane with the home run earlier. Lane looks to possibly have another. This one high, deep, and caught. Very anticlimactic there. Lenny Lane hit the home run in the second inning. There's been virtually no offense from either team since. Louis St. John strikes out. I believe he has struck out 3 times in this game. Not a particularly phenomenal offensive performance from the MVP. Castellanos also strikes out, so a good inning there from Josh James, and we go to the top of the 9th. The Astros have not scored yet today, and we'll see what they can do here against Julian Starnes, who in 3 2/3 innings has been phenomenal, including 2 in that Game 5 victory. With nobody out, Corey Lee hits it into right. Ramos has trouble with it. Lee headed to second. The throw is in time. Elliot Ramos tried to throw him off to get Lee to keep going, and it paid off. A big brain move by Elliot Ramos to get the out. One away now for Raimel Tapia. That one is fair for a base hit. So Houston is starting to get some more runners on as Tapia is safe at second. Good throw by St. John, but unfortunately not in time. So now the Astros have a runner in scoring position. 2 away for Altuve. He goes down looking on the splitter, and this one is over. A 5-0 victory here for the Baltimore Orioles in Game 1. They scored all 5 of their runs in the second inning. A 2-run single by Elliot Ramos and a 3-run homer by Lenny Lane. The pitching was phenomenal. 6 scoreless from Kris Bubic. Although he allowed a billion runners on base, he didn't let anyone score. The bullpen was good as well. Amir Garrett and Julian Starnes both did their job. So going back to last game, I want to say that's 18 straight innings that the Orioles have not allowed a run. Very impressive. And even if the offense has been lackluster in that 18-inning stretch, the pitching has just been so good. So that brings us to Game 2. I know it says Kris Bubic is scheduled to start. Obviously, he is not going to play. The Orioles will go elsewhere. But this is a very important game. I think that goes without saying. If the Orioles can win, they can take a 2-0 lead, which would be a really big deal on this series. That wouldn't be the end-all be-all because the Angels led 2-0 in the ALDS, and, well, they blew it. But nonetheless, this is kind of a must-win game here for the Houston Astros, who would love to get some momentum going back into Houston to try and stop the red-hot Baltimore Orioles, who have won 4 in a row. So here is Tristan McKenzie, his first postseason appearance of the year. He did not pitch in the ALDS, but Baltimore is comfortable with starting him here in the postseason. They wanted to get him some reps, so he's going to get the nod today. As with one away, Brandon Nimmo singles just like he started off in Game 1. So the Astros have an early runner aboard. A nice opportunity for Yordan Alvarez as it's deflected at first. The Orioles going to try to turn two. They do not. It's a fielder's choice. Nimmo is out at second, but Yordan Alvarez is safe at first. That'll bring up Alex Bregman, who flies this one into right field. Should be caught, and it will. As it's Elliot Ramos getting another start today, making the play. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. Forrest Whitley on the bump for the Astros. Whitley had a great season this year for Houston. And fun fact, we almost traded for him earlier in the series, but we weren't able to make a deal. And I'm pretty sure Houston is very happy that was the case. Here's Castellanos up with two away. Hits it high, deep, and gone! A solo home run for Nick Castellanos. And that'll put Baltimore on the board. That's our first source of runs from either team since the second inning of last game. It's been a very roller coaster of a postseason for Nick Castellanos, who struggled early, got benched in Game 3 against the Angels, hit a home run late in that game, and he's been on fire ever since. As we go to the second, Kyle Tucker goes down on the high fastball. Nice pitch there by Tristan McKenzie, his second strikeout of the game. One away here for Austin Wells. He hits it into center. Looks like it should be a single, but Bowman keeps going back. He's lollygagging, which means Wells goes to second. Bad throw by Bowman, and it is a double. Xavier Bowman did not play in Game 1 of this series, so I would have hoped for a little bit more fire coming out of him than letting that double happen. Corey Lee singles into right. Allen will not test the arm of Elliot Ramos, and clearly that is a good decision as Ramos nails home plate. So now we have a couple runners on the corners here for Jeff McNeil, who hits it into, I guess, medium left field. Is that a thing? Caught by St. John. Allen is directed to go home. The throw from the cutoff man is not in time. And for the first time in this series and in nearly like 20 innings, the Orioles have allowed a run. And this game is tied at 1. J.P. Crawford does strike out to end the inning. Good work there by Tristan McKenzie. But the Astros are finally on the board. It's taken over a game for them to hit the scoreboard, but they've done it. Into the bottom of the third inning now. Both pitchers are really going at it right now as Bowman grounds it to Bregman. What a play. Alex Bregman, we all know, is a great offensive player, trash cans or not, but he's also one of the more underrated defensive players in the game as well. Elliot Ramos is now up. 2-2 pitch goes down on the high fastball. Forrest Whitley is dealing right now. His second strikeout of the game. Other than the home run by Castellanos, the Orioles lineup has got nothing going. Houston hasn't gotten a ton going either, but they are going to try to do some damage in the fourth. Here with a single to lead off the inning by Alex Bregman. So Houston now has a runner aboard. That'll bring up Kyle Tucker. He lines it to first. What a play by Mountcastle. The Orioles going to try to turn two, and they do. Great defense there by the Orioles. It's a 3-6-3 double play. Excellent work by Ryan Mountcastle. That'll bring up Austin Wells now. He singles it into right field. So just like Game 1, the Astros are having no problem getting players on base. They just are having a lot of trouble scoring them. Lee goes down on the low slider. Good work there by Tristan McKenzie, who has pitched very well today, only allowing one run in a little bit over 4 innings. Louis St. John up in the bottom of the fourth. Lines it nicely into left field. Fair for extra bases. St. John on his horse for second. The throw is offline. It's a double to lead off the inning here for Louis St. John. And with the meat of the order due up, it's a great opportunity to drive in some runs. That starts with Nick Castellanos, who went yard in his last at-bat. This one will certainly stay in the ballpark. Looks like it'll be caught, and it will. Not as climactic as his first at-bat. 2 away now for Adley Rutschman. He hits it solidly into center, but not solidly enough, as it is caught by Brandon Nimmo to end the inning. Game remains tied at 1. Tristan McKenzie's pitching really well. The Astros pitcher, Forrest Whitley, is doing a great job as we enter the 5th. Another leadoff base runner for the Astros. This time a single for Jeff McNeil here in the back end of the lineup. So the veteran is aboard. That'll bring up J.P. Crawford. Another single. This time into right. And again, the Astros are having no problems getting runners on base. That'll bring up Jose Altuve. Lines it to second. The Orioles nearly turn 2. A very close call. Great defense there by Jalen Miller to get the first out of the inning. Brandon Nimmo is now up. They say that's a strike. Interesting call there by the umpire behind home plate, who I think has definitely helped out the Orioles in this postseason series. So that'll bring up Yordan Alvarez, who lines it into left. Another 2 runners left on base for the Astros. How many guys have they left on in this series? Like, no joke, it feels like it's been about 20. Game remains tied at 1. As we go into the bottom of the 5th inning, we'll see if the Orioles lineup can try to get something going, because it has not been good for them. 2 away for Bowman. Lines it to third. Will Bregman rob him of another base hit? No. Xavier Bowman actually beat out the throw. So it's an infield single for Xavier Bowman. The Orioles now have a runner on base. That'll bring up Elliot Ramos. Count is 2-2. Pitch from Whitley. And they say he went around, which he definitely did. I'm not debating that. I'm just debating the thought process here by Elliot Ramos, considering that pitch was well inside. Now we go to the 6th inning. Tied at 1, but not for long. Alex Bregman with a solo home run, and the Astros take the lead. A 2-1 score now in favor of Houston. Their first home run of the series, their first lead of the series. So it's another leadoff base runner for the Astros, but this time he actually scores. And from there, a pitching change will be made. Tristan McKenzie taken out of the game. McKenzie has pitched quite well today, and if the Orioles do end up losing this game, he is certainly not at fault. I thought he's pitched really well. The offense has just been booty. German Marquez is the one who replaces him. A very interesting call by the Orioles to get one of their starters into the game. Marquez pitched in Game 4 against the Angels. He had a perfect game going into the 7th and a no-hitter going into the 8th. So long story short, he was dominant. Kyle Tucker goes down on the knuckle curve. We'll see if Marquez can keep up his dominance from that Angels game. And if he does, I imagine the Orioles are going to want him to go probably the rest of the way as he gets Austin Wells to strike out as well. So a quick start to the inning here for German Marquez, who is looking dominant as ever. Corey Lee going to try to take a stand, which he does. It's a single into center field, only the second base hit that German Marquez has allowed so far in the postseason. So Lee is now aboard. A nice opportunity for Jeff McNeil with a bomb into right center field. A 2-run homer, and the Houston Astros now lead this game 4-1. A big 6th inning here for Houston, and the decision to put German Marquez in has actually backfired. It's not that Baltimore didn't trust their bullpen. Obviously, the bullpen has been phenomenal the past couple of games, but they wanted to get German Marquez in, and, well, he allowed multiple runs. Jalen Miller opens the bottom of the 6th. Great defense at second base by Jeff McNeil to get the first out of the inning. Looked like it was going to be a single there for Miller, but no avail. So the Astros get the out. Following batter is Louis St. John. 2-2 pitch goes down on the low and outside curveball. A filthy pitch by Forrest Whitley, who is still just on fire right now. Into the top of the 7th, here is Yordan Alvarez! Crushes it into right field, and the bombing continues. German Marquez continues to really pitch poorly. Alvarez's 3rd home run of the postseason. One of the best power hitters in all of baseball, and the Astros now lead this game 5-1. A very convincing lead here for Houston. They are certainly in the driver's seat, and from there, a pitching change needed to be made. Jonathan Hernandez is in for the Orioles. Hernandez with 2 shutout innings so far here in the postseason as he faces off against Alex Bregman. High, deep into left field. St. John chasing after it. 9-1-1, I'd like to report a robbery! Louis St. John, what a play! Robs a home run to get the Orioles out of the inning. Exceptional defense by St. John. That was clearly a home run, but he got up there to make the grab. I know Louis St. John is not the greatest defender in the world, but he made one of the best defensive plays of the entire postseason. Now the Orioles might get some momentum off that play, and they're going to look to capitalize. With one away, it's a high fly ball into right field by Adley Rutschman. It is gone. That ball felt like it was in the air for a good 5 minutes. Rutschman with his 3rd home run of the postseason, and it is still a 3-run game, but it feels like the Orioles are really generating some momentum with the robbery by St. John, now the home run by Adley Rutschman. Why stop the party? Here's Ryan Mountcastle with a blast into left center. Back-to-back home runs here for Adley Rutschman and Ryan Mountcastle as the Orioles cut the lead in half. It's now 5-3. Mountcastle with his 3rd postseason home run. He did not play in Game 1 of this series, but he's back in business. So it looks like the decision to keep Forrest Whitley in the game has backfired, and Andre Scrub checks in. The jokes write themselves with this guy, don't they? It would be very poetic for the Orioles to go on some big run, but he strikes out Shed Lawn. That cutter, he looks absolutely filthy. He's no scrub. I don't think he lives up to his name. Kyle Tucker here in the 8th goes down looking on the changeup. Nice pitch by Jonathan Hernandez, who, as you can see, is still in the game. Austin Wells is now up 3-2, goes down on the low changeup. Good work by Hernandez, who has continued to be such a great trade deadline acquisition as we go to the bottom of the 8th. The regular closer, Nick Anderson, is in for Houston. It's not a save opportunity because, well, we are still in the 8th inning. I'm a little bit confused by this call by the Astros. As with 2 away, St. John rips it into center field for a base hit. Louis St. John with his second base knock of the day, so he is now aboard. The tie-in run is up to bat, and it's Nick Castellanos who homered back in the first inning. Man, would it be a good time for another one to tie this one up. Count is 1-2, pitch from Anderson, grounded into right for a single, so Castellanos doesn't tie it, but still a successful at bat. Now the potential go-ahead run is up, and it is Lenny Ling who started this series off with a bang. He hit that 3-run homer in the second inning of Game 1. 0 for 5 since then, 1 for 7 total in this series. 3-2 pitch, popped into the shallow infield. A wasted opportunity there for the Orioles. They had 2 runners on for the taking, and neither of them will score as Bregman makes the play. The Astros lead this game 5-3 as we go into the 9th inning. The Orioles put in their regular closer. It's Edwin Diaz, his 3rd postseason appearance. He's only had 1 save opportunity so far this year. He pitched 2 great innings in the Game 5 victory against the Angels as he strikes out Jeff McNeil. A blazing 97-mile-an-hour fastball there by Edwin Diaz. Jose Altuve now with 2 away. That one bounces foul. It looked fair from that angle, so another lucky call for the Orioles as Altuve goes down swinging on the slider. Another scoreless inning there from the best reliever in baseball, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. 5-3 is your score. Can the Orioles complete the comeback, or will the Astros tie the series at 1? James Karinchak is in for the save. He is not their closer, but, well, I guess he is today since they already used Nick Anderson in the previous inning. Here's Ryan Mountcastle with 1 away. Hit a home run in his last at-bat. 2-2 pitch. Mountcastle lines it into center field. That will drop in front of Nimmo for a single. So the tie-in run is aboard. The Orioles are definitely not out of this game whatsoever, and it's Shed Lawn who has been great here in the playoffs. Hits it high, pretty deep into center. Not deep enough, however. It's caught by Nimmo from the second out of the inning. So Mountcastle retreats back to first, and now this game will come down to the bat of Xavier Bowman. But Bowman will get pinch hit for, and instead it's Carmen Sixto who will enter in his place. Count is 1-1. The pitch, hit high, deep, into center field. Nimmo back at the track at the wall. It's caught. And that's how the game ends. The Astros win it 5-3. The Orioles were a few inches away from tying it up. A great swing there by Carmen Sixto, but it just did not have enough carry. So a very exciting start to this series. The Orioles win Game 1. The Astros win Game 2. I think this is going to be an ALCS for the ages, and I really would not be surprised if it goes 7 games. The Astros were a little bit better with runners on base today. Forrest Whitley, minus that 7th inning, was phenomenal. And our offense just wasn't good. We've had 2 very poor offensive performances in this series. We've really relied on our power, and we have hit 4 home runs in these first 2 games, but we're just not efficiently getting base runners on. And that was sort of the opposite of our issue in the Game 5 against the Angels, where we were constantly getting base runners. We just couldn't score them. So next episode, we've got Games 3 and 4 in Houston. Should be a fun one. In the National League, the Braves are currently on top of the Diamondbacks 2-1. So the defending champion Braves are looking to recapture their NL throne. They're just 2 wins away from doing it. I'm excited to see how that series unfolds as well. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.